Hello everyone, welcome back to AutoTrendTV. I'm your VIPRAAJESHNG again from PRESSANAKIA showroom in Coimbatore today, and I'm here with the new Kia Sonet HTK Plus mid-spec variant. The HTK Plus is the third variant on the Kia Sonet range and is claimed to be the best overall package when it comes to features, equipment and looks. Despite being a mid-spec variant, this HTK Plus variant still looks very good and still retains most of the highlights. Well, of course, the headlamps are not projectors and you only get regular halogen bulbs. However, you still get the glossy black finished front grille and knurled chrome finish around the grille as well. The fog lamps too are proper projector units similar to the top spec variant. So in terms of looks and overall satisfaction of the appeal, nothing has been compromised. This variant also gets a dual tone front and rear bumper with force skid plate finish. Moving on towards the sides, you can of course see these 16-inch HYPERSTYLE stylized steel wheels which kind of look like alloys and are exactly the same design seen on the HTX variant as well. Here's a quick look at the side profile of the HTK Plus mid-spec variant of the Kia Sonet, and you can see that this variant also receives body-colored ORVMs and door handles as well. However, this variant clearly lacks the chrome finishes and touches seen on the top spec variant. The HTK Plus variant onwards, the Kia Sonet gets roof rails and a shark fin antenna, whereas the lower spec HTK variant lacks these features. Moving towards the back, of course the Kia Sonet HTK Plus variant looks exactly similar as the HTX variant as well, except for the tail lamps. Well, you can see that the overall design may remain the same. However, the tail lamps do not get LEDs. Instead, they are stylized halogen units made to look like LEDs. As I already said before, the rear bumper too gets a silver finish two-tone effect, adding to the SUV appeal. Additionally, you can see that this mid-spec variant also lacks rear windshield wiper, washer and defogger, and the rear design itself is quite rounded off in contrast to the sharp-looking front.
Now let's get inside this car to check out its features. Yes folks, I'm right now inside the new Kia Sonet HTK Plus mid-spec variant. This is the third variant on the Kia Sonet's range, and well, the interior looks exactly that. You can see that this variant lacks a lot of features, including a leather wrap steering wheel, cruise control on the steering wheel, and this variant also lacks the larger 10.25-inch touchscreen infotainment system. However, what you can see is that this variant still gets a lot of features. You of course get the semi-digital instrument cluster seen on the top spec variant, and this looks almost exactly the same. Let me just turn on all the displays on this car using the key. Of course, this variant does not receive push button start. Instead, you get a manual key slot, and this here is the key of the car. Both the keys are exactly identical and both are flip keys. So you have to slot the key manually to turn on this car, and as you can see, this is how everything looks like. Well, let me just sort it out, and yeah, this is how everything looks like. The instrument cluster still looks very good despite not being a color display. This display is exactly the same seen on the Hyundai Venue as well, so it provides you with almost all the data you need. The tacho is on the left side and the speedometer is a digital readout at the center, and over here is the MID, which is again a digital screen, and on the right side you get the fuel gauge and the engine temperature gauge. So this is a neat and clean system, easy to use, nothing complicated at all. You can change the display of the MID by pressing these buttons, and you can toggle through the menu over here using this switch. So it is really very convenient and offers you with a lot of options as well. Now coming to the touchscreen infotainment system, this is a smaller touchscreen system. It is still a touchscreen system, but still you get manual buttons as well for additional convenience. You can see that this here is the button to control volume control, and on the left side is the rotary knob to control the menu and the scrolling function as well. So that is quite nice. You can also seek through the FM by pressing the separate seek button on the left side corner. You also get other buttons which also include track, setup, radio, media, and this here is the favorites button. So it is exactly the same user interface. It does not have a cheaper interface, and it looks exactly the same. As you can clearly see, it still has a lot of functions, including Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, and of course it also has a DRVM, which is basically a reverse parking camera, which you can turn on while even driving forward. That will be quite handy while driving through tight traffic. And as you can see, it is smooth as well, just like the top spec variant. So no compromise in terms of utility and the touchscreen infotainment system. You also get automatic climate control on this variant, because the HTK variant, one variant lower to this, that variant does not have even a touchscreen system, and neither do you get automatic climate control. That variant gets only manual AC, whereas this variant gets a touchscreen system and automatic climate control as well. So that is quite nice and handy. Coming lower down on the center console, you get the typical pad over here, which used to get a wireless charging pad on the top spec variants, but this variant clearly does not have that. This can be still used to store your smartphone while being charged using these sockets over here. Of course, you get a 12-volt charging socket. You get two USB charging sockets. Well, one is for the USB connectivity and one is for smart charging, and that is clearly visible. This here again is another place to store your smartphone, and this here is the gear lever. Well, of course, as you can clearly see, this is definitely a mid-spec variant, and the gear lever looks exactly like a mid-spec variant, as it does not have any sort of glossy black or faux metal or any other finish. It is just a plain rubbery finish. The gear knob is in stark contrast with the dashboard. As you can see, the dashboard still looks decent despite being a mid-spec variant. You get all the metal accents, the chrome finish and all that. You can also see this knurled metal finish around the AC vents. However, lower down, this gear knob definitely does not match with this interior, which is again okay for a mid-spec variant. So that was all about that. Just behind the gear knob is this area over here, where you again get two cup holders along with a slot to park your smartphone, which is quite a nice and convenient idea. No other car offers this. The center armrest is standard on this variant, and as you can see, it has got decent amount of storage space inside, and it is quite soft and comfortable as well. Talking about storage spaces, of course, you get the very decent sized glove box, which again is quite nice, and you also get 1 liter bottle holders as standard on all the doors, and of course you also get an umbrella holder over here. So that is quite nice. Both the front doors get umbrella holders as standard, as you can clearly see. So that's all about that. Talking about the doors, of course, this Kia Sonet HTX+ variant gets all 4 power windows, with the driver window getting one touch up and down functions as well. You also get power folding ORVMs as well, which is not available on the standard HTK variant. This is the HTK+, so that also gets this feature. Now all the metal finishes on the doors are carried forward exactly as on the top spec variant. You get these 4 metal accents, and you also get this textured plastic on the dash top and the door top. Everything still remains hard plastic though, no soft touch material whatsoever. And this being a mid-spec variant, you do not even get a leather padding or a fabric padding on the door armrest. As you can see, all this is hard plastic, and that has not been masked, which is completely okay again for a mid-spec variant. The good thing, however, is that you get automatic headlamps. That is a nice and comforting feature for the lack of all this. Coming to the roof, of course, you get a day-night switch for the IRVM, which works well, and the sun visors are of a standard size, with only the passenger side getting a vanity mirror. You also get a sunglass holder, which is again soft opening, and it also has soft felt lining on the inside. And you get 2 individual cabin lamps for the driver and the passenger separately, and you can even turn them on altogether. So that is quite nice. The seats, of course, are not finished in leather. These are fabric seats, and the texture is quite funky, to be precise. It is a mix of say multiple design patterns. Just have a look at this. It is kind of hard, I should say. The texture is quite rough. It is not soft or smooth as on, say, the Grand Titan Neos, but the seats overall are comfortable and they will last long. They are, of course, durable fabrics. So that was all. Now let's get to the back seats of this car. Yes folks, I'm in the back seat of the new Kia Sonet HTK+ variant, and this is how the dashboard looks like when everything is turned on. And well, talking about the rear seats, of course, the Kia Sonet has not been the most spacious car in its category, and the legroom is just about adequate for my height, which is 5'11" for reference, and I have adjusted the driver's seat for my height. Another thing to be noted is that this HTK+ variant gets driver seat height adjustment as well, which is quite nice. Now coming to the rear seat comfort, well, it is just about decent. You also get the exact same hard wearing rough fabrics for the rear seats, no center armrest provided, and neither do you get adjustable headrests for the rear seats on this variant. However, you get rear AC vents along with this for knurled finish metal over here, and it is quite nice. You also get a smart USB charging port with a storage pocket. So despite the lack of obvious legroom, you can be decently comfortable if you are not as tall as me. So that was all about the rear seats. Now talking about the doors, of course, even though this variant carries forward the same foam metal finish for the door handles, you do not get any sort of fabric or leather padding on the armrests, and the doors are quite exactly the same as before. You get 1 liter bottle holders as standard on all the doors, which makes storage, well, really very convenient. The weird thing about the rear seats is that you do not get a seat back pocket behind the driver on this variant as well, whereas on the passenger seat, well, right behind the front passenger seat, you get 2 storage pockets, one for the larger files and stuff and one for your smartphone. So well thought out, but not so spacious. That's what I would say. So that was all. I think that this variant still offers a lot of features for a mid-spec variant, including a reverse parking camera, touchscreen system, automatic AC, and a semi-digital instrument cluster. So let's just conclude this review once we talk about the pricing. Before that, let's just take a look at the boot space.
Opening the boot of the Kia Sonet HTK+ variant. Well, of course, everyone knows that the Kia Sonet provides best-in-class 392 liters of boot capacity, and that remains exactly the same. In terms of features as well, there is no compromise, because you get flat folding rear seats and a 15-inch steel spare wheel under the boot floor. Of course, the Kia Sonet and the Hyundai Venue are the only compact SUVs in this category to provide 15-inch steel space-saver spare wheels. Overall, this boot is very spacious and also gets a parcel tray despite this being a mid-spec variant. However, there is no boot lamp. So that was all about the boot space of the HTK+ variant of the Kia Sonet. Once you close the boot, you get to see this reverse parking camera mounted right above the Kia logo and integrated into the red reflector bar. Now let's talk about the pricing and conclude this review. So that was all about the HTK+ variant of the Kia Sonet compact SUV. This variant, despite being a mid-spec one, still offers a lot of features everyone will need on a mid-size category. Additionally, this is the only other variant of the Kia Sonet which is available with all engine and transmission options. This here is the 6-speed manual equipped turbo diesel variant, and this variant is also available with a 1.2-liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder petrol engine or a 1-liter 3-cylinder turbocharged petrol engine. The turbo petrol is available with a 6-speed IMT or a 7-speed DCT automatic, whereas the diesel also can be had either with a 6-speed manual transmission or a 6-speed torque converter automatic transmission. Going by all these details, this HTK+ variant is the best value for money variant of the Kia Sonet lineup. So do let me know in the comment section below, what do you think about this Kia Sonet HTK+ variant. Meanwhile, this is VIPRAAJESH signing off. See you on another video. Thank you for watching.